Welcome to our session today. This is session 2 of our virtual conference, and we're so glad that you're here with us. I'm going to go here just to this next section, and it's going to just be about Sketch, that location where you're getting your agenda. And just want to make sure that you go in and you click on for our session today, which is the digital citizenship one, that you have that black check there so you can go back and rate it and access the resources as well. And then also the recordings. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you do. For our session today, we do have a digital handout for you. The link is going into the chat right now. So please go ahead and access that digital handout. At the top, you're going to notice that we have the description. We also have the slide deck there for you and the important links for the session today. So if a slide says it's going to be link 1 on the digital handout, it's going to be right there for you. And when we go to our exploration time, you'll have your choice board at the bottom too. Again, the link is there in the chat for you. So thank you so much for being here with us. And this is the session on digital citizenship, looking beyond the first month of school. What does it ongoing digital citizenship look like? My name is Jane Miller. I'm a project director for district leaders, as well as IT leaders and C-suite experiences. I am here with my colleagues, Rebecca Lama, Associate Director of Coaching and Onboarding, and Carla Kipper, our Director of Implementation. And so the three of us are really excited to be here with you today, and they'll introduce themselves as they move on as well into their portions. Just want to make sure that we welcome you and celebrate what you're doing in your schools, because we want to hear from you, but also how can we help support you as leaders and recognizing those contexts that you have and nuances where we want to build relationships and think about the things that we do and maybe enhancing it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide where it's just going to show what we're going to focus on today. Our objectives, we want you to explore best practices to support students with their digital identity. We want you to create or enhance that ongoing digital citizenship plan that's inclusive of staff and students' device care. What does that look like and sound like? And if you happen to be in our session earlier today, the one right before this on using data and cross-functional teams, all about that. This is an extension of that session. If you weren't there, you'll want to go back and watch that recording because it would really tie in well to this too. So I'm going to go ahead and move us on to Rebecca and go ahead and set our why.
Thank you. Thanks, Jane. Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here with you all today. And we're just going to jump right in to the why for ongoing digital citizenship. So I want to go ahead and call your attention to the right side of this slide. Feel free to read it along with me as I read it out loud. But the inclusion of digital citizenship in this school district's one-to-one program can really help to ensure that your students, learning community, and families are all working together to keep students safe and are working to help students put their best digital foot forward. And that's where it's really at, right? We want our students to put their best digital foot forward. So below that quote, you're going to see that we have a couple of links that we've provided for you there. Actually, it's just one link, I'm sorry. That's going to take you to our Digital Promise website, and it's going to connect you to some resources of how to develop your digital citizenship strategy. There's a sample of a digital citizenship program that you're going to find there, and then several other helpful resources included on the site. Once you get to that piece, you're going to see some subheadings on the left-hand side, and one of those is going to be the device rollout toolkit. There are plenty of resources under that subheading, such as leveraging your student tech teams, school expectations, developing policies and procedures for tech. So I really encourage you a little bit later in this session, you're going to have some time for exploration, that you jump into those links and just kind of browse through lots of great resources for you during our choice board work time. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the video now. And this is going to bring about a discussion of making digital citizenship more about the do's rather than the don'ts. Okay, so we're going to take a few minutes to watch this, and then we'll jump in to our next slide in discussion.
Far too often, digital citizenship is taught in a negative way. Here's the list of things not to do online. And while I deeply appreciate the intent behind all the anti-cyberbullying campaigns, we don't teach other things as anti in our schools, right? I mean, we don't have like an anti-illiteracy campaign. We teach people to love to read, right? Digital citizenship shouldn't be a list of don'ts, but a list of do's. La Cañada School District in California decided instead of teaching anti-cyberbullying, they were going to start teaching their kids what it meant to be good cyber friends, which includes watching out for people who aren't being treated respectfully online. In addition to being more compelling, by the way, keeping it positive is actually something you can practice. You can't practice not doing something. The other thing we need to evolve is our thinking around recognizing that the skills required to thrive as a digital citizen go far beyond just online safety. It includes being respectful of people with differing viewpoints from our own, recognizing fact from fiction online, using technology to engage in civil action, knowing how to have the right balance of activities online and offline, and of course, knowing how to be safe and also create safe spaces for others. These aren't skills that students are learning, by the way, by watching adults either, you may have noticed. So we also have to do a better job ourselves. Last year in Chicago, we challenged you to commit to doing at least one thing differently to teach digital citizenship in a positive, broader way. And we asked you to share your stories. We got so many stories, I wish I could take the time to share all of them with you, but let me just give one or two quick examples. Laura Carey, a 5th grade teacher in California, committed to modeling good digital citizenship by citing all of the sources that she used. In her words, no more snatching an image just because it's for my class. Or a technology integration specialist from Elk Grove USD who committed to supporting students in, again, in their words, using technology as a global microphone to connect communities beyond their classrooms. Unfortunately, the people who most need to hear this message aren't sitting in this room today. So we are planning a bold next step, and we need your help. ISTE, in partnership with like-minded organizations, is launching an international campaign around redefining digital citizenship. We're calling, yes, you can clap for that, thank you. We're calling on students, educators, parents, and community members to take action in ensuring that our students have the skills they need to be effective digital citizens. We will be curating the best resources we can find to help teachers and parents talk to their kids about these important skills, and we'll be sharing them at digcitcommit.org. With your help, we have a shot at creating a radically better future.
Alrighty, so with that, we're going to go ahead and go into our next slide, which is exploring the ISTE student standard. Thank you. So really the video talks about going beyond conversations about digital citizenship and really moving to that next level of intentionally planning for digital citizenship in your schools and really to make those digital citizenship commitments. That really stuck out to me. And so one way that we can start making those digital citizenship commitments is to take a look at the ISTE student standards, and that really can support that ongoing integration of digital citizenship on your campuses. So let's take a moment to read that quote on the right-hand side there. Today's students must be prepared to thrive in a constantly evolving technological landscape. The student section of the ISTE standards is designed to empower student voice and ensure that learning is a student-driven process. And so you'll see that link right below. That will take you to the same image that you see on this slide. I know it's a little fuzzy, but it will take you straight into the student standards. And again, when we have that exploration time, I encourage you to take a look at these because we have some really good resources here. Each component of the standards has a brief video, and then it also provides some context and a view of how it might look to implement that standard on your school campuses. So this is going to lead us actually into our next activity on our next slide. So we're going to move forward, and we're going to have a little bit of an activity for you to engage in here. So we'd like to give you some time to think about your ongoing plan. Our moderator has posted the digital handout in the slide, in the chat, and I'm sure he'll do that again. And so for the next 4 minutes or so, you're going to have some time to choose one of the videos on this Padlet and choose any of the 4. And then we're going to ask you to post your answers to the questions on this slide. So basically by using that little plus sign, that little round plus sign, you're going to respond to 2 different questions that you see on this slide. We're going to ask you to make a connection and then also to make a prediction. So part of your connection piece is after you've watched the video, think about how does this video and standard connect to your district or school ongoing digital citizenship plan, the one that you currently have. And then we'd like you to also have that second part of making a prediction. So consider the claims and teacher technology survey data for your school or district. And what would you predict your data would say about the success of your digital citizenship plan that you currently have at your school? So we're going to do a little bit of reflection after we watch the video. The videos are pretty short. Do we have any questions before we move into this activity? Okay. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and put about 4 minutes on the clock. We'll give you a chance to dive into the Padlet. We're here if you have any questions, but enjoy.
All right. Morning. One thing that I know, these videos, once these came out with the SD standards, it was so powerful because that was the one thing missing was, what does it look like? And so how cool is it that now you know that you have these resources to go back? And I see that just right here, loved, seeing this happen, being able to actually then make connections to what you're doing.
Absolutely, Jane. I think those connections are important, and to really be able to see that and see some exemplars just helps so much more, right?
Yeah.
I really love the couple slides that we shared before this of just having that little video, a little bit of a blurb there that kind of expands on the standard is definitely helpful and beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at this. The culture of social media. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And nice to take that culture of social media and make it a positive presupposition, not negative. And how do you make it a positive on how do you share and what you share?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, absolutely. I really like that. So kudos to you right there. And the others right there, positive. Mm-hmm. When they own it. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I love the comment about giving students ownership and understanding the rights. I think that's a really good one, understanding those rights and those responsibilities that go alongside those rights as well.
Yep.
Absolutely, Carla. I was just going to say that too. Just the comments about student voice and having that choice is definitely huge, that student agency. So I appreciate that as well. So continue to add your thoughts and your reflections to this Padlet. I do want to move forward, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton over to my colleague, Carla.
All right, everyone. Welcome. In this section, we will talk a little bit about the VILS data dashboards. And we have a guiding question for this section that I'll draw your attention to, and it's on the left side of the VILS data dashboard slide. So the question is, how do you know if your digital citizenship plan is meeting the ongoing needs of your learners and also the goals of your school? So how can you tie your digital citizenship plan on an ongoing basis to your learners' needs? So in this section, we'll talk a little bit about the data dashboard. Your data is going to be housed in the VILS data dashboard. It's accessed through Okta. And you will notice that there is a link to a guide to navigating the data dashboard. And so I'll pause for just a minute. You don't have to log in live if you aren't sure if you have access or not, but we've included that handout so that you can go to this section after the presentation and log in and look at some of the things that we're talking about. So once you log into the data dashboard, you're going to see that there are some different kinds of data that you'll have access to. So you'll have access to device data usage, claims, TIMO, and teacher tech surveys. So in the different types of data, device data usage. So it's going to give you some data on the LTE data usage. So the usage, how are students using their devices to connect to Verizon's network? So when they're not on Wi-Fi, and you get that information monthly. District points of contact, IT leads and coaches, and also hotspot liaisons have access to that information. So it can tell you a lot about how students are using their devices outside of school, how they're using it maybe in after-school programs or at home. The claims data dashboard talks about inventory, incidents, so all those things that can happen during the school day and week, repair claims. So you can get some trends on what is being repaired, how many devices have been turned in for repairs, and also you can get a total on your campus devices. And so district IT leads have access to the claims dashboard. Over on the professional learning side, you have access to the TIMO, which is an observation tool, and it's used by schools to indicate the level of technology integration during a lesson. And so who has access? Coaches and also district leads. And when we're thinking about tying all of this in, don't forget about the teacher tech surveys. So it's a tool to reflect on professional learning throughout the year. And so you will have access to the teacher tech surveys if you are a C6, C7, or C8 coach, or a C9 coach. You'll have access to these dashboards. And so we really want you to think about how each one of these data dashboards can inform you individually and also collaboratively across IT and PL. Think about, for example, if you look at device usage, what can that tell you about students and their level of digital citizenship? Device repairs. If you see trends with students, certain types of damages, cracked screens or keys missing from keyboards, that can tell you some things about how students are owning their devices and the care of their devices. And then over on the PL side, TIMO, think about how the level of tech integration can match up to some levels of digital citizenship and some things for you to follow up on with digital citizenship. So again, how do you know if your digital citizenship plan is meeting the needs of the learners in your school? So I want you to take a look at these two data sets. We have one for the teacher tech surveys and then another for claims. And I have a question. So what do you notice and what do you wonder about the data and how it might inform an ongoing digital citizenship strategy? So what do you wonder and what do you notice? And go ahead and drop that into the chat.
And for those of you who might be a little new to the teacher tech survey, we chose one of the questions from the survey specifically. How often are you asking your students to use their devices for out of school time? Evenings, weekends, holidays. And then, so that's how much outside of class students are using their devices. And now we're looking over here on the right-hand side, the claims. And this is going to be the VILS top claims summary from August. And so right here, these are how many claims, how many repairs we had done. So claims is when they turn devices in. So if there's any PL folks who are wondering about that. So right here we have LCD repairs. Mm-hmm. We have the glass repairs and digitizer repairs. And then we have missing keys as well. So, and if you, oh, thank you, Alicia, for that. Yes, we'll make sure we look into it. Please put down what district you're with as well.
Yes.
And so now, just like, you know, Carla, you asked, you know, that whole idea that we talked in our last session about too, is how is IT and PL, that cross-functional look? So now that we have that teacher survey on how often you ask students to take them home, and then the top claims, what are you noticing? And what do you wonder? Ah, thank you, Alicia. Great.
All right, thank you. Right, so great comment, Kimberly. So teachers are asking students to use their devices outside. So students are aware they need to have their iPad ready for use. So that that ties
Mhm.
into students owning that device, making sure they can find it, ensuring that they take care of it, keep it charged up. All of those things are important.
Mhm.
All right, more great, awesome comments. So even though
Mm.
the percentage for out of school time is only 28%, 49% of the claims are for LCD. So LCD repairs come from students playing games, punching the screens, dropping devices at home and not taking care of them. So that can really be a great key. You can key in on that
Mhm.
for your ongoing digital citizenship plan. So think about how you could craft or what you might modify in your ongoing plan to talk about the ways that students are using devices, encouraging them to use their devices for educational use and limiting some of the gaming and non-educational use.
Yeah, Carla, something just came to mind that Taritha put there in the chat, and it's like, okay, so and I like how you're taking this idea here that you put there in the chat, is that positive presupposition. Well, is it this or is it that? Do we really know? What relationships do we have with the kids, right? Because we don't want them not to tell us what's happening. We want to have a good relationship so that then they let us know when it needs to be fixed, or we want them to be successful at home, just like in the video that Rebecca, you shared. It's like, let's be on the positive side. So let's find out the why of what's happening at home. Let's think about what's happening in the classrooms for digital citizenship and that ongoing. And now what's our response? So it's like, how do you build that capacity and build that positive connection? Absolutely. And then, but it is good to know what it's for. And so that's digging deeper is very important. All right.
All right, wonderful, great. So keep adding those great ideas to the chat, and feel free to interact with each other and talk about some of the ideas that are being shared. They're wonderful. So next up, let's do our resource exploration. So based on the data, how might you enhance your ongoing digital citizenship plan? So we have some think time set up, and we're going to explore a choice board with some resources, with some questions in mind. And so as you look at the choice board, I would like you to think about what resonates most with you, what might you add to your toolkit or your plan for digital citizenship. And we'd love for you to add to our Padlet resource exploration column and prepare to share that resource and your personal ideas in the breakout rooms. So you should see some links that are in the chat, one to the Padlet and the choice board as well. And we will be going into some breakout rooms.
And actually, this is going to be your individual think time for you before breakouts. So we're just going to give you time to think, go explore, find that resource.
And then once you do that, we will go into the breakouts.
Exactly. All right. And if you like to turn off your camera, you can. And then after the 5 minutes, you can turn them back on, or you can leave your camera on, your choice. We'll go ahead and start the timer now and just explore, see what's out there available to support you. All righty, can't wait to see their responses. Let's see. Oh, they're going in there. Excellent. They're starting to put them in. Fantastic. All righty.
All right, 10-second return time.
Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Hello, hello.
Reach out to parents.
All right, nice to see everybody. Hope you enjoyed your chats.
All righty, welcome back. Thank you all. Thanks for engaging in that activity. You had some time to individually kind of just dig in. You had some time to talk with your group, and now we just want to hear from you. So we're going to invite a couple of our participants, 2 to 3 participants would be lovely, just to unmute And share with us what your group talked about, maybe what resonated with you most, and what you might add to your own toolkit in ongoing digital citizenship plans. So I am going to pause my mic and I'd love to just pass it over to someone. Feel free to unmute and share with us what you all talked about. And we're not going to be shy.
I'll go first. This is Kat from Ramsey Middle School, and I had two lovely ladies, one from Las Vegas and one from Little Rock.
Great.
In our group, we shared that parent outreach is really important. We all have either weekly newsletters or emails that go out to our parents and other stakeholders where we showcase how the technology is being used in the classroom. And then we also include like a digital citizenship piece for parents, or maybe a quick device care, a quick, 4 to 5 tips. Please make sure your students are doing these things at home with their devices. The only challenge with that is actually knowing how many people read that, but at least we're pushing the information out there.
No, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kat. I think it's great that you have the weekly newsletter is what you said, right? Weekly. So great with those tips, and I appreciate that. That's great. That's great. Let's hear from another participant. What did you all talk about? What resonates with you most? I'm looking over at our resource Padlet, and I like the idea of just updating and adding resources to the parent resource piece. So this particular comment says, we found great resources to help engage our parents in our districts, great options for PD with parents. And I can't emphasize that enough. I was a C3 coach way back in the day. And so that was something that we held regularly for our parents, was that idea of PD for our parents. And some of that was device care, digital citizenship, even showing them how to use the device on their own for their own needs too. So that's definitely huge, that parent outreach piece, and making sure we're giving that PD to our parents. Love that comment.
Really like, I see if you scroll down a little bit too, you're going to see that idea of leveraging your student tech teams.
Yeah.
And how are they interacting even with those ISTE standards, the videos, maybe even, monthly tips by the tech team? How are we getting them to take part? I know some of, Rebecca, I know with some of our schools too, and Carla, that we've even seen student tech teams go visit classrooms and actually go in and say, hey, classes, and do little class visits or things as well too. So what does that ongoing look like has really evolved over time? Absolutely.
Absolutely. So thank you, Kat, for sharing out, and thank you for participating in that Padlet and adding your thoughts there. I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Jane, just with some upcoming opportunities and closing us out.
All righty. Well, and it's really great that now you have the choice board. Now you have those, the Padlet to refer back to. You've got the toolkits. You've got the ISTE standards with some video examples to make it real with staff and students and families. So just so many opportunities. We have this upcoming opportunity on the providing affordable connectivity to your families in the community. So if you're wondering about that, what does it look like in your community? The federal government, we're going to be doing a webinar with VILS and Digital Promise. I'll be there to help host it. And we're just going to have a really great talk about how can we leverage the funding that's coming through from the federal government to support our communities. So registration is here. It's December 14th. Feel free to share with anyone, and everyone is welcome. So that's one opportunity for you. Another is we really do want to hear from you. We're hoping to have created this as an interactive session, giving you resources, letting you talk, share ideas. We do want your feedback because we want to improve on what we do as well. So inside Sketch, you just want to use that link where you had your session and go ahead and rate it for us, and even give us a little bit of information too, if available. All right. Do note that we have upcoming sessions. Got a couple more happening. We've got an ed camp coming up too. So you got a break now. I just want to thank you so much for your time and hope that you were able to get a little nugget that you're going to take away with you and maybe something that you're going to try right away that you heard about or going to try in the next month or two once you come back from break. What a great way to get kick started. Once you come back from the vacation, how is that going to be ongoing from there? So great opportunities for you as the school year goes on. Another thing, we just want to say we're here for you. We as your VILS partners, you have your point of contacts for your district. Myself, Rebecca, Carla, we're all here to support you. So feel free to reach out. We always want to ensure that you have us as part of your PLC as well, and your other colleagues around the country. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Rebecca and Todd for everything, for being on here with us, and have a wonderful rest of your sessions, everyone. So have a great day.